Hello brides, so I'm Michelle from the Lockharts, and today we're here with Kristen from Hazelwood Paper Co. And we're going to be talking about all things stationery and paper goods related for you guys. So before we begin, I would love for you to tell us a little bit about you, about your business, and how long you've been in business, and all that good stuff.
I'm Kristen Hazelwood, owner and founder of Hazelwood Paper Co. I've been a stationery designer for 9 years. I've got a Bachelor of Fine Arts in graphic design, and I spent the first years as a graphic designer in the corporate world. Shortly after my own wedding, I started an Etsy shop, creating wedding invitations, and eventually the business grew and I made the leap to designing wedding stationery full time.
So as a wedding day stationery designer, I know that you offer so many products. So can you run us through what are the most common products that our couples or brides kind of pick and choose from you and that you design for them?
First and foremost, the wedding invitation is an absolute must, as well as save the dates. We offer menus, place cards, table numbers, escort signage, interesting displays, favors, and more. Pretty much anything is on the table.
So you offer just so many pretty products on your website and so many different things. And I know that some people can go with like custom and semi-custom options. So can you run us through what the difference between those two things are?
Semi-custom stationery has limitations to what you can customize. This varies from business to business. It could be a certain number of changes allowed or a limited selection of colors, papers, or print choices, or even possibly working with an associate designer. Fully custom has few limitations when compared to semi-custom on what you can do. It could include custom artwork, interesting shapes or sizes, non-paper elements, or luxurious printing styles. They're all on the table with fully custom. Semi-custom can be a great option if paper isn't a top priority, but you're still wanting a quality product. It's also for those that don't mind if anywhere from hundreds to thousands of other people have your same invitation. Semi-custom can feel a bit more cookie cutter depending on if you're going with a small business or a more boutique business. Fully custom affords the opportunity to create something truly unique that embodies you as a couple, something that wouldn't fit thousands of others. A custom suite sets the tone for the level of event you're planning and becomes a keepsake when you've poured so much of yourself into all of your design choices.
And I know like we photograph so many of like your paper goods, and like yeah, we've done like sometimes where our brides have chosen the semi-custom option, and they're beautiful. They're a beautiful option, especially if like you haven't budgeted that much, you know, for stationery. But custom, you can do it, definitely. I mean, it really does set the mood for like your wedding day. So it's something to kind of think about when you're, you know, creating your budget and thinking about what are your priorities. So now we know that there's also like a lot of different designs and kind of styles that couples can go. So what would you say are those like different designs and things that people can choose from?
Every designer has their own unique style. Some designers are modern and minimal. Others are calligraphers and bring that handwritten element to their pieces. Some are painters and bring beautiful illustrations into their pieces, and some lean more traditionally with their designs. There's no right or wrong answer, it's whatever you like best. So find someone that you love nearly everything they've done and hire them.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's just like so nice to kind of like pinpoint what you love and bring that to the table and create that, because it really does set the mood for your wedding day. It's the first thing that people see from your wedding day. So now brides get super excited to get those invitations out, especially if they look as good as the ones that you make. So when do you think is the best time to go ahead and send those out?
We tend to make our recommendations first and foremost based on where your guests are coming from, and secondly, if it's a destination wedding or a wedding taking place around a major holiday. Weddings where guests are local, mailing your wedding invitations 8 weeks before the wedding works well. If you have about half of your guests coming from out of town or traveling in, we tend to recommend 10 weeks. If the vast majority of your guests are traveling in, or it's a destination wedding, or you're getting married around a major holiday, we recommend 12 weeks.
That sounds perfect. And then also I know that it does take time for you guys to, for you to go ahead and create magic. So they should not be calling you right before they have to send them out, right? Because that's going to take, some work. So what do you recommend is the best time to go ahead and inquire about your services?
We've definitely noticed that invitations creep up on people. You think to yourself, my wedding is so far out, I have time. And they forget to mail them out with advance notice. Typically, the ideal time to mail the invitations would be 2 to 3 months out. So that means, in turn, the invitations need to be designed, printed, and ready to mail prior to that 2 to 3 month time frame. This means you need to be working on your stationery a bare minimum of 4, if not 5 months before your wedding. Couples that are planning on custom stationery, fully custom stationery, should get started on invitations anywhere from 6 to 8 months before their wedding.
So I definitely agree with invitations creeping up on people. I feel like that's one of those things that people don't, they get the venue, photographer, and the big ticket items, and they're stationery, and it's well, you do want to let people know where they're going and where it is. So definitely that's one of those things that people have to be on the lookout and make sure that you get in that time frame so you can get the person that you want to design them. So once you guys have nailed down the invitation and the designs and all that stuff, how do you go about helping them decide how many invitations they're going to need based on their guest list?
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, you need to analyze your guest list by party. So you don't need one invitation per individual, you need one per household. Then we recommend adding on at least 5, if not 10 or more extras. The last thing you want to do is call your stationery or your company and have to order additional in a panic, which typically comes at a higher cost than if you had ordered a little extra in the beginning.
All right, so while there are many designing options, I know that there are many wording options that you can put on your invitation. So can you run us through how you help the couples kind of decide what the wording should be on their invitations?
We walk our couples through the wording basics and offer suggestions depending on type of ceremony they're having, their family situation, as well as if they, as a couple or a family, lean more modern or more traditional.
So in addition to the wording, we all have seen, at least when we photograph, that invitations can have a lot of pieces or they can have very few pieces. So can you run us through the different pieces that an invitation can have and which ones are the most important and why people would add on any other ones?
The piece that you cannot go without is the invitation. This tells your guests who is getting married as well as when and where. The second is collecting your guests' responses. Traditionally, this is a separate response card that is mailed back to you. If you forego mailed RSVPs, then a separate insert that indicates how guests should respond, such as by website, would need to be included. Sometimes clients will combine the online RSVP details on an informational details, which is a catch-all for miscellaneous information that you'd like your guests to have. Other common inserts are a reception insert, but you only need this if your ceremony location is at a different location than your reception location. Accommodations inserts may also be used if you have multiple hotel blocks. Map or directions inserts are also an option. Most maps we're seeing lately are for aesthetics more than for navigating. However, our couples hosting on private property do often use a to-scale map and directions to assist their guests. Couples may also utilize a very small website insert if they don't want to do a full details insert. We also often do rehearsal dinner inserts as opposed to a separate invitation. And for couples hosting events before or after the wedding, we also often create inserts for those specific events as well.
So now I know that making all the fabulous work that you do does come with a lot of time and just it's a process. So can you run us through what that process looks like from the moment that a client kind of inquires to what would that look like for a client?
I typically start with a consultation. This allows me to dive into each couple's needs, preferences, and what they're looking for aesthetically. I'll create a customized proposal after our consult, and then we'll determine a timeline to ensure that pieces are printed and produced on time. From there, we'll go into design. Typically, we provide a few options for our clients to review, and we go from a broad idea and refine it down into a single design we're moving forward with. It's a very collaborative process, and our couples love being involved in the design of something that is uniquely for them. After design is complete, we move into print and production. As we approach wedding day, we'll carry the design we've established through to all of the day of stationery for a cohesive look.
I mean, that sounds so amazing, and I know that your couples must just love being able to just be hands-on with the process and just customize the things that they need for them. That just sounds like so amazing, especially since stationery just really lays out the mood for the day. Okay, so I would love for you to tell our couples just a little bit of maybe like tips that you think are really important for them to know in terms of just stationery for their wedding day.
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, it's definitely important to get started early enough so that you can either go with the company that's a right fit for you or the designer that is aesthetically aligned with what you're looking for. And then I would say a second thing that I would look at doing is figuring out what aesthetic you want and carrying that through all the way to wedding reception so that everything matches.
Yes, and I would definitely say that you want to make sure that all of your paper goods match. So you want to make sure that your invitations and your menus and they all kind of like look the same and fit the mood of your day. And a great stationery designer is going to help you with that. And Kristen's work is just so amazing. So if you haven't already done so, make sure you check out her work. We definitely have it linked down below so you guys can go ahead and look at it because she is just so good at what she does and in helping couples have all their paper good needs. So if you found this video helpful, make sure that you go ahead and like it, and if you have any comments, definitely post them down below. We are more than happy to go ahead and answer all those questions. And Kristen, thank you so much for providing our brides with all that great information. I know that it is just so valuable to know from a professional's point of view of what they need and what they should be looking out for the stationery goods for their wedding day. And we absolutely loved having you guys around. So if you haven't already done so, make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe so you can be notified the next time that we post a video. And like always, go ahead and see you next time. Bye-bye.